All right, hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing an install video for a product that the company T-Yard sent to me. They're going to be some Molle panels that fit up under the front of the front trunk, or the Frunk. Molle, if you're not familiar with that term, it's a military term. It stands for modular, lightweight, load-carrying equipment. And basically it's like a black grid with little squares in it, and you can tie all kind of equipment to it. They've got mounting points you can attach tools to, soft bags you can connect to it, first aid kits, fire extinguishers. They've got bigger ones that you can attach things like shovels and anything you can really think of. It's just a modular system that you can connect things to. So the frunk space it's a useful space, but that area up above the frunk where you could attach things to the top of the hood, it's just another creative way to use space. For something you may not need to have immediate access to all the time, such as a first aid kit is what I'm thinking about attaching there. It's just something that's out of the way. It doesn't take up space in the normal part of the frunk where you might throw groceries or bags, suitcases, whatever. So the company T-Yard, I'll show you the box that this came in. So these are the Molle panels. There's the T-Yard logo there. It's T-L-Y-A-R-D, but pronounced T-Yard. So we're going to be putting those in right into the front of the Cybertruck here. And I'll pop this and let you see where we're talking about. So right up under here, here's your normal Frunk storage space. These panels are going to go right up here. They're going to mount to each side. There's two panels, one going on each side here and here, and that'll allow you to attach. I've seen people even attach rifles and things with these mounting brackets that you can put on there. But it's pretty much limitless, the possibilities of what you can attach to it, just whatever you think of. But anyway, yeah, we're going to walk you through that and hope you enjoy the video. And with a nice soft microfiber cloth there for doing stuff to your vehicle. Got our instructions. So that's what our panel itself looks like. Like I said, it's a aluminum panel. It's got some rubber stripping along the edge to keep it from rattling or abrading against the vehicle, so that's nice. And then each of the brackets that are going to mount up under the top of the hood. So I'm just going to pull each of these items out. And there we have it. So as you can see, we've got our two main panels with the rubber stripping already installed. We've got two larger brackets here, two smaller brackets, and then there's some wide and some narrow nylon washers, nuts, these little T-screws that are going to be used to hold these brackets to the top of the hood, and then a set of star screws. And actually these are, they're like T25s, I believe. All right, so this first part, according to the instructions, is going to have us just assemble our pieces. So we're going to take each of our brackets, go in from the bottom with one of these T-screws, and then have one nylon washer and then a nut. We're going to go ahead and pre-assemble those, and then once we get those pre-assembled, they just lock onto the front of the trunk. So that's what I'm going to start out doing first, is go ahead and get each of these brackets and go ahead and make these assemblies. So we're going to slide that up through there, one wide nylon washer and nut. All right, for this part, I've brought you underneath the hood with me, and I want to show a close-up of where these are going to go. So each of these big brackets are going to go right around this rib underneath the top of the hood, and then you can see these little T-slotted nuts. You'll twist those, half a turn, and then they'll lock underneath there, and you can tighten those down. So we'll have one here and one here, one on top, one on bottom. And then you've got these smaller brackets, and they're going to go in this little crescent-shaped area. And I'll have to pull the panel up here to see exactly the best place they fit, but they'll end up sliding in one edge, and then the T will mount right up behind to wedge it in, similar to that. And these are all going to need to be loosely installed first, and then once you get the Molle panels in place where you like them, get everything snug down after that. All right, I'm going to put you back on the ground down here. I'm just gonna get these finger snug, just so they don't fall off. Go ahead and get them all in place. All it takes is pushing it out. I'll show you this kind of close. Take this little T-screw and just push it out that way, and then it'll rotate around to latch it behind that little flange at the top. And then as you pull it down, it tightens itself up against this little black stud right there. All right, so those are still loose, but snug enough to not fall off. And so you have a small hole there and a slotted hole here. So we'll end up putting a screw through that hole, and then we'll slide this up to where the slotted hole is in that slot. It looks like that will go right in that little recess there. So if that's lined up there and there, yeah, that's going to put it right in line with that hole. So that's going to be where those need to go. So I'm going to snug this one down. There's really not a lot of room for where that one's going to go, so it may have to be tightened down before we ever get those permanently in place. Yeah, that's going to be just right. So now for these attachments, it's going to be the small little black T25 screws, and they'll each get a small nylon washer in between each of them as well. So what I'm going to do is start out with dropping one. I'm going to start out with it in the one hole that doesn't really have any room for movement, which is this one. And I'm just going to get it started. I don't want to get it tight yet, but just to kind of hold that in place. I don't know if you can see from that angle, but there are some larger holes here that you can still get your wrench through to tighten these down in final assembly. What you don't have, though, is the ability to move, to tighten this one after the fact. So I'm going to lay that down very gently, let it rest there while I tighten up. So if you find, like I did, that the wrench that came with it is a little bit too thick to really fit between the nut and this bracket, I found that a 13 millimeter box end wrench will fit in there and allows you to snug that down. So I'm going to do this one next, since I might need to be able to move it around for the next one. You always want to work from the areas that you've got the least amount of freedom of movement to the ones you have the most, so that if you get in a bind, you'll have more options. But these seem to be lining up no problem so far. And I'll get them both started and just barely finger tight. All right, the only one that gave me any kind of trouble was that very last one. Just trying to get it lined up. Being the very last one to get in place is often the hardest, but everything else lined up just right, and that one was able to be finagled into place. So now I'm just going to go back and snug down on the larger bolts on the mounts back here, because you've got an opening to get to those, and then tighten down on each of those other ones. Let's give you one final look across those. And like I said before, all of these little square cutouts, you can weave accessories, webbing straps can go through there, and they also make a lot of different just custom attachments for holding on to whatever types of tools or accessories you may want to store up there. So that's pretty much it. Pretty easy install there. Again, if y'all would go check out tyard, TLYARD.com, and use my coupon code SpaceNerd at checkout. You'll get a pretty good discount there for everything on their site. They got a lot of good stuff on there, so go check them out, and hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.